the one session before the last, we've got the amazing Salena Baca here with us from the American Crochet Association after her amazing presentation all about crocheting garments from simple rectangles. And I love the addition of the word simple. Because of course, crocheting garments doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to take you hours just to work out what to do. Simple. If you can crochet a simple rectangle, you can by all means make stunning garments like Selena's wearing there. And all the other garments she mentioned in her presentations. So we are waiting for people to pop along. Come on in, say hello in a chat. Let us know what you think. Let us know your favorite part. Let us know your aha moment. Ask any questions you might have. Selena's ready to go. She's roaring to go and answer your questions, whatever you want to ask. There's been a lot of chats in the comments over on YouTube as well. We've been all reading and watching. So come on over and ask any questions. We are all ready for you, all waiting. And we've got hello, we've got Joanne. Hello.
Hi, Joanne.
Joanne's made everyone so far. Joanne's been to everyone. Valerie's here from Houston.
Fantastic.
Love the presentation. Awesome stuff.
Stacey too.
Yeah, Stacey just popping in on lunch break. Of course, it's lunch. It's like dinner time here for us, but yeah, of course it is. And we have Romy with Rovers here as well. And this is an important comment to make. That scarfy cardigan is gorgeous. So before anyone else jumps in with a question, my question or comment or whatever is like, I love that you have used simple rectangles, simple shapes and gone, this doesn't have to be boring. This does not have to be like, it doesn't have to look simple. It doesn't have to look like square and boxy and like there's nothing wrong with that. But I love the way that you focus on the styling of things and like where's that come from? How have you come to that? Was it a lot of trial and error or have you just gone, this is my vision?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of trial and error because at first, I thought, well, one of my favorite things to make for a really long time was blankets. And I thought, well, if I can make a blanket, surely I can make something like a sweater. But it just never worked. It always looked like this stiff, boxy, it looked terrible. And I couldn't quite figure out what I was doing wrong. And then I think I kind of had a little bit of an epiphany because I was shopping for clothes and I was trying things on. And there was something that I was wearing that was very like, it was machine knit, but I thought, wait a minute, this is just like two squares slapped together, not slapped together, expertly crafted together. Right. But like, it was all about like how open the fabric was and the stitch and the way that it cascaded. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. I think it has everything to do with like the yarn type and the size of the yarn and whether or not the yarn has any drape and then the stitch pattern. And then it's all about like, I think that so often we put in our minds that it's like, I'm a medium, I wear medium. So I'm going to follow a size medium, but it's not fitting in the way that you want it to fit. So it's like, I think that we have to put size aside and think about how we want something to be styled. So really, I think it's all of those things. I did make a ton of mistakes. And then one day I was just trying things on. I was like, wait a minute, I think we can do that, but I need to like reinvent what I thought it needed to be.
And I think there's lots of focus, isn't there? There's like not design snobs, but there are people that are saying, no, they need to be, you need to have inset sleeves, you need to have this, you need to have that, you need to have lots of shaping. And like, that's not the case. If you're making stuff for yourself or for other people, like you make it how you want it. It doesn't matter. Like, and if you feel comfortable doing that, and some of my most popular patterns are literally two rectangles put together. That is all. And people, when they make them, they're like, oh, that's so simple.
Yeah,
exactly.
But they look amazing. They look amazing.
Yeah.
Someone has said that. Valerie said that actually. Simple is the hardest and most difficult to achieve. Sometimes it really is, but then sometimes it's literally is two rectangles put together. And it's those key things, isn't it? It's the type of stitch you use. It's the magic in the yarn. It's the everything together. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
definitely. Oh, Carrie's here saying, loving all your sessions so far. Brilliant. And people saying, finally found you finally. Don't worry, you are not late. This is why we're leaving a little gap between each video. and to come to this one. We know it's a bit of a thing to navigate, so don't worry. You're with us. We're with us. Yep. And everyone's loving the color of your cardigan.
It is beautiful.
We said that before, didn't we? Yeah, love the color.
Yes. I love that. Also in the stitch patterns that I like to use, sometimes like color can really hinder the stitch pattern.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think colors can really enhance it. And so what I love about really simple rectangles, really simple stitch patterns is often, you can't really make a wrong choice when it comes to color. Like here we've got kind of like this gradient. There's a lot of like non-repeating colors in here. And I think that you can see the color and the stitch, you can see the color and the pattern. And so I think it's fun to play with that as well. So you don't have to use the exact yarn, the exact color that I used. Like you really can kind of play with something that you think looks great.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And then we have a fan of yours. Oh, you got this person into garments. Question: how do you adjust rectangular shapes for bust or hips without making garments super big? Good question.
That is a good question. The thing that I love about the kind of pieces that I make is that they are rectangles, they are squares most often. And I think that that's where you have to think about the style that you want. Depending on your body shape, but also depending on what you want it to look like on you. Sometimes you want something to be fitted. You want it to fit your body. And so depending on what it is it going to be a cardigan? Is it a top? Is it a poncho? Like think about how you want it to fit your body, how you want it to style on your body. But also there are so many things that I make, and I even showed it in my presentation, to where it's like the picnic vest. I made it in a size medium to fit me. But then also someone was like, you know what? I like that, but I'm going to make like the biggest size and I'm going to use a bigger hook and I'm going to use like a smaller yarn. And now it's like this giant, like drapey thing. And so it just depends. I don't want anyone to go, I don't really look like you. I don't look like the model, so I don't know how it's going to fit me. I think that there are different pieces that, again, there are so many things that we can make: a cardigan, a poncho, a top, a vest, and you can play around with style so that it fits your body the way you're most comfortable with. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I love that of encouraging people to experiment. And again, we've said this every presentation. This is the whole point of this thing, to give people confidence to know what they're doing, to have the technical skills, but then also to experiment and try new things.
Yeah.
And what's the worst that's going to happen? Hey, What's the worst? What's the worst?
Yeah.
You might just invent something brand new.
Yeah, that no one.
Maybe.
And people were like, "Where did you get that? Where did you get that?" Like,
I love that. I love when that happens, and I feel like I did something right.
Yeah, definitely. And then you want to I want to be like, well, I got it from this really cool designer place, and it was really, really.
Oh, the boutique.
Yeah, or I had it handmade for me. Yeah, So
right. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
I love that.
To piggyback on the shoulder drop question from the video, if you are making 2 rectangles that will have sleeves, from a designer standpoint, how do we incorporate the drop shoulder? Because, and then we carry on, that measurement is more than the bust, right?
I think it goes back to, it depends on what kind of item that you're making. A cardigan versus a poncho versus a top. Each one of these things are constructed different. They're going to fit different. And then I think that it depends on how you want it to fit you. I mean, I could have made this scarfy cardigan a lot smaller. I could have made it inches smaller. I could have made this inches larger. So what I like about rectangles, and let's just take the scarfy cardigan as an example, is that I could remake this following the pattern and make it cropped and tight here, or I could make this go all the way to my elbows if I wanted. And then I can craft the sleeves to fit the rest of my arm. So each one of these pieces can be individually crafted to fit your body as tightly or as loosely as you want. And it's because they're rectangles, because they're squares, it's very easy to measure, as I said in my presentation, know your own body measurements, and then think about what style, what fit you want. And then you could craft this scarfy cardigan, for example, to fit your exact body in the exact way that you want it to.
I love that. I love that. And I've done that with the poncho. You probably can't see it that way. I literally made it to where I wanted it and then just whacked a sleeve on it. And that's so easy. And the pattern for me is like, just stop where you want and then put your sleeve on. Or don't put your sleeve on, leave it as it is. You know, like there are so many things that you can do once you've got the confidence.
Yeah, it's a great thing that you can just take one pattern and make completely two different looking items from it, like really fitted and cropped or really oversized with just a shorter sleeve. So that's the great thing about rectangles. It's still the simple pattern, just going back and forth in those rows, creating the simple rectangle, but creating two completely different looking items at the end of it.
Absolutely. I like to add details and helpful tips. Like, for example, if you've never made a cardigan before, you may look at something like this and go, I don't even know where that starts or ends. Like, I don't really understand how that's just rectangles. So things that I like to incorporate are, I give notes, I give diagrams, and then, you know, I give diagrams of the individual pieces with measurements. Like if you're making the back, it's worked from the top down and it should measure this much across, and then it should measure this much in rows. So it's just helpful little tips like that to give you the confidence to say, oh, I am crocheting this piece. I do want it to fit like this. Here's my body measurement. I can clearly see whether or not this piece of fabric is going to fit into what I'm trying to make.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
And am I right in saying, Salena, that that scarfy cardigan is part of our power pack?
It is. Yeah, this is. So for this, I made a complete crochet along, filmed the entire thing, every single aspect of this, from choosing yarn, measuring your own body, measuring the individual pieces, making a gauge swatch, crocheting each piece, putting each piece together, every step of the way. I have that crochet along, and it is included for everyone who gets the VIP.
So if you choose to have, so part of the process, so there's two different aspects here that you can have your VIP access for this summit, but then on offer to absolutely everyone is the power pack, which you will find once you've gone through the process of either having your free ticket or your VIP. We
yes, thank you for elaborating.
I was like, how do I explain that without getting tangled up?
Sorry.
no, it's fine. So the power pack that we've called it, which you can still purchase if you've gone through the process and you would like to get it, let us know, because each designer added something, and Salena's something was this amazing course, an entire course platform. So if this is something you're ready to jump into, the price of the power pack covers basically what Salena's course, plus then you get 15 other things. So it's an amazing resource of about $640 worth of value for a lot less. So if that's something you would like, then please do let us know. But anyway, back to questions. I love the look of the Cheryl tee. Could you tell me who the designer is and where I can get the pattern, please?
Oh, yeah, no, that's mine. That's one of the patterns that I outlined in the course, the presentation that I just gave. And that pattern's available in a few places. So whenever you do have access to the material in this summit, I do link it there. So for anyone with access to my materials, it is linked there. And you can also find it in my Ravelry shop.
Awesome.
And a few other places, but I think the easiest place is Ravelry if you're not part of the Garment Summit.
And we're assuming that would be the same answer for the next question. Where can we get the pattern for your scarfy cardigan? So I'm assuming that would be also on Ravelry.
Ravelry. I list all of my patterns on Ravelry, whether it's in a book or somewhere else. Everything is listed there, just kind of as part of my crochet resume. But the best place to get this is, I am giving that course whenever you sign up, as Hannah was just outlining.
Awesome. And I've put the link in the comments for Salena's Ravelry as well. So if anyone wants to go and explore, because this is the other thing that this summit, and we discovered this last year, didn't we, that it's helpful to introduce people to designers they may not have met before. I mean, I know so many people already know you, Salena, and someone's already said in here about your courses are amazing. So that,
so glad.
go get Salena's courses. It's so lovely that
people
coming from different audiences are finding new designers, because it's so inspiring, isn't it, that we all design crochet garments, but we all do it in such a different way, that once you find once you find the designers that really work for you, and you understand the way they present their patterns and they format their patterns, like that's another key thing, isn't it, for people having the confidence.
And we've got a huge fan club for your scarfy cardigan. I can see
everyone's
people made it.
It's fun.
People
it's fun.
love it. So
so glad.
And Joanne's saying, I need to make a cardigan next for myself. Yes, you do. You can. You will. I have a hard time deciding on which of Selena's patterns to make. But after this weekend, I have more confidence for sure. Yeah. Why choose just one? Start 3. You'll finish it.
Oh, Hannah's leading you all astray. Don't listen to Hannah. No.
I think that's good. I think that's good advice, actually. If you're not sure, you can start a few. Yes. And maybe you like one more than the others. I mean, this entire premise of actually making and finishing things is, why I started the book Crochet in a Weekend. Like, I don't want anyone to ever, any garment I think is far more approachable than most people may think it is,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And here we are. Confidence is such a big part of it. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
So start all of the things.
Do it. And don't necessarily finish them all, but definitely start them all.
Oh, I don't know. I think that, things are going to be far more approachable once you get started.
Yeah.
I think after the first 2 rows or 2 rounds, it's like, oh, okay. No, I totally got this. I can.
And I kind of think as well, like if you're starting something and you're not sure about it, don't worry about it. Just leave it. Leave it. Come back to it. It doesn't matter. Don't force yourself, because this is for our enjoyment. It's not just to make beautiful things to wear, is it? This is for our mindfulness. This is for our kind of escape. This is our thing, or it is for me anyway. I have to
the process.
Yeah. And don't get caught up on how long it's taking you, or whether you're achieving X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter, as long as you are enjoying it and getting from it what you want and need to get from it. So there we are.
Yeah.
There.
Well said.
We've got a little request to see the cuff on your cardigan.
Scarfy cardi. So
everything about this is totally adjustable. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah. How's it done? How does that pull in?
So this is made in rows, and it's made from here down. So it's made from the top to the wrist, and it ends with a smaller stitch, just a single crochet. I made mine just a few rows of single crochet, but you could make it, let that cuff longer if you wanted, if you really wanted something that maybe you could fold over or something like that. But I almost wanted it to balloon a little bit. So that's why I just kind of ended it that way.
I love it.
Some people have left it off if they wanted more of like a bell or an open sleeve. Some people have left this sleeve off entirely and just capped it off here. Some people have made it 3/4. So I think that this sleeve, is as customizable as everything else, depending on what you like and how you want it to fit you.
And the neckline, I'm so intrigued now as well. The neckline then, is that literally just a rectangle around the neck?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is made separately. Every piece of this is made separately. There's a back, there's this front panel, sleeve, and then this collar. So this collar is just made back and forth in rows for the length of the 2 front panels. And then there's a gap for the neck, just to kind of give you that openness. And, this is also customizable. So if you don't want this, if you just want to line it with maybe single crochet, or if you want this portion to be much larger, it's absolutely customizable.
And tying to the first session of today, what seaming method have you used?
So in my course for this, in my crochet along, I made a video tutorial for 9 different ways seams can be, this can be, you can seam things. Yeah. So I think that it's up to the individual. In the pattern, I definitely say this is the way I seamed it in the pattern. But then you can also, depending on the yarn, or if you just want to try different things, the colors. Because sometimes with colors like these, if you are seaming with the color, you can see that color kind of coming out.
Yeah.
Now I've made this a few different times, and every time I've made it, I've seamed it differently. I've sewn my seams together. I think that's fine for flexibility
Yeah.
and, you know, to kind of like hide colors and things like that. But for this one, I crocheted the seams together, and the method
Lovely.
was single crochets and chains to where it kind of made this zigzag pattern to where there's not a bulky, like,
Okay.
there's not a bulkiness to this seam. It's a very flat seam
Flat.
of just single crochets, chains, and skipping, and just kind of zigzagging between the pieces of fabric. And it's very flat. There's no bulk, so I don't feel it anywhere, especially in the arms or under the arms, and
Yeah.
you don't see it from either side. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And what is
Yeah.
the yarn? What's the yarn that you're using in that cardigan?
Yeah, so this is discontinued, I believe.
Oh, so
I do have this project posted on Ravelry, so you can get all those details, how much I used and everything. This yarn is called Gemstones, and it's from Red Heart Yarnspiration. I think it's discontinued, but yeah, it's a great yarn.
Maybe if enough people want to do your pattern and they go back to them and say, bring the yarn back.
Bring it back.
Maybe they
Maybe. I don't
will.
know. So everybody cross your fingers.
Yes.
Because it's soft. I love the thickness. It's just, it wears so nicely. The color's fantastic. I mean, this looks like boutique yarn. It's marled. There's different colors kind of twined together. It's brilliant. It's gorgeous.
What weight is it? Is it worsted?
This is like a 4 or a 5.
Okay.
But it doesn't have like the bulk and heft of a 5, even though I want to say it might be a 5. I'd have to double check that. It feels more
really,
like,
yeah, sits nicely on you and it molds and moves and yeah.
Yeah, it has
Bring
movement.
the
It has
yarn
movement.
back. Whoever's listening, bring the yarn back.
Let's start the campaign.
They don't hear us. They don't hear us. We talked about this before. They just want to break my heart. That's all they want to do.
Oh. We have a question from Kim about the summit, saying, will the live Q&A be available to VIP members like the rest of the summit? Absolutely. Yep. So same as we did last year. As soon as our day is complete and everything's loaded up, we will add the live Q&A session links into the VIP package, so you won't have to go searching for any of those. So this will all be there. All of our chatting will be there forever, immortalized.
There we go.
And Joanne saying, I'm thinking of a ribbed cuff like the neck on the scarfie. Yes, that's would work really nicely as well, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, bridging onto that, we do have a ribbon presentation on one of the days. I think Michelle's presentation's on Sunday, but don't quote me on that. Have a look at the schedule. But Michelle from Dora will be talking about ribbing. So put the two presentations together and you can completely customize your own scarfy cardigan and add the ribbed cuffs. Definitely.
Gosh, there's some people that know. There's people here saying that it's on Yarnspirations, but there are only 3 out of the 6 colors. People are knowing what colors there are and what's available and all sorts. Gosh. But we also have lots of people asking for the power pack that I'm waffling on about. So let me find the link for that. If you haven't bought it when you went through the checkout, I can find a link for you. Talk amongst yourselves while I search for where that might be. Hang on a minute. Challenging to find. Here we are.
Okay, so I'm also VIP, but don't see the pattern course for the scarfy cardi. It's included in a power pack, so it's not within just the VIP ticket. Mm-hmm. It is for the power pack that is like an additional purchase to the VIP ticket. So just to clear that one up. Let me just whip through the comments. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. For VIPs, you'll find the scarfy cardigan pattern and course in a downloadable in the power pack. That's right.
Here we go. Here's a QR code for it, and I've put it in the comments as well. If you didn't manage to get it, but you would like to get it, you can purchase that separately.
There we go.
Yes. But that will also, just like the summit, just like the VIP ticket, that will only be available until after the summit's ended. We're going to have a couple of days where you can still purchase, but then it will disappear completely. So yeah, grab it if you would like it. definitely. Oh, people are scared. I love it when it comes up and tells us that someone scanned the QR code, and I know that it's them working. Hurrah!
That's it.
Good. I love when technology works.
I love it too. I love it too. So what's next on the agenda then, Salena? What are you doing with rectangles next? Or are you done with rectangles? Are you ever done with rectangles? Yay!
Never. I feel like that's my favorite thing. I respect and understand other people who want to do increases and decreases and top down, very fitted and yokes and all of that. I have such a love and appreciation for that. It's just not something I want to specialize in. So I put that aside. So yeah, I love I love that there are endless possibilities, I think, in rectangles. So for me, like I'm so inspired by yarn, I'm so inspired by different styles. And so yeah, no, I'm always coming up with new rectangular kind of things to be worn. So much more on the horizon. Yeah.
I love that. And I love that when people find like their thing and they specialize in it, I feel like push the boundaries more and don't do more. Whereas I feel like I'm a bit of a fickle one. And I'm like, oh, yes, I'll do a top down. And oh, yes, I'll do a cuff to cuff is my thing right now. Or this, like I just keep chopping and changing. So I don't have lots of any one technique. Whereas I think if you focus on one particular thing, you then think, okay, what else can this do? So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I love the simplicity that it offers. So for me, I love living life, not counting, like quietly in my crochet hole. So for me, things like this help me just kind of like live life and participate and be out there. For me, whenever it comes to things like this and what I want to provide to people is, yeah, you can make something like this, quietly work on the first 2 rows. And then you're like, okay, I got it. Now I can go
I'm done. Yeah.
outside, or I can listen to a podcast, or I can watch my show, or I can hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I love so much about the simplicity of rectangular things that you can wear.
Definitely.
So see, the thing is to crafters, they will be like, oh my gosh, that's made just from simple rectangles, amazing result. And then for people that don't necessarily crochet or knit, they'll still look at it and it's like, oh my God, like I can't believe you made that. And you kind of silently start to think, yes, it's just a simple rectangle, but look how amazing it looks, right? So it's a win-win.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is a good question.
That's true.
Good question. Have you done color work in that technique? So in your rectangles?
I don't love color work. Again, if anything that requires a lot of my mind or counting or things like that, that's not like, it might be something I try, but it's not something I put a lot of work into. So for me, I love choosing like very colorful yarn like this, and that does the hard work for me. So there are other people that have nailed color work and do it amazingly. I am not one of them.
But I think again, as a designer, like you absolutely could be, but it's knowing where your passion lies, isn't it?
I don't love it.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
And if you
I don't like doing it. It's not that I'm like, I don't like it, but it's not something I enjoy as a technique. It's not something I find fun to do.
And I think as designers, then that's really important, isn't it? Because the vast majority of designers make their own samples. We make our own things. You spend hours and hours poring over like, how do I work this construction? How do I do it? And you're going to put so much more of your heart and soul into something that you really love and enjoy, aren't you? So but you can definitely, like, this technique would work brilliantly, I think, for color work, if color work is your
absolutely
thing. Yeah,
absolutely. And I do have so many patterns that I offer that are such simplistic rectangles that, like, if you want to get creative and say, I think I want to try this I want to incorporate this color work technique into it. I think that if you follow along with my other techniques, like, it's all about, the fabric, make sure the fabric's not too dense, make sure it's not going to look like a paper bag, make sure the yarn is comfortable, things like that. Make sure the stitch pattern in the yarn isn't really make sure the yarn isn't hindering the stitch pattern. Then I think that you can get really creative and do things that you love.
Fantastic.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so exciting to speak to you, and all of these amazing people joining us, asking amazing questions. It's so wonderful. I can't think that people have watched it and not got lots and lots of value from your video, Salena. It's absolutely amazing.
I'm so glad.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for joining us. And I think we're just about ready to wrap up because we have one more session left for today. We have the awesome Pam Grice from the Crochetpreneur, who is talking to us about something entirely different, still garment related, but how to sell your crochet garments. If you would like to make crochet garments to sell, if you've been thinking about it, and like the practicalities of it and whether it would actually work or not, then Pam has an amazing presentation that is just about to air in a few minutes. So if everyone wants to log into your, no, Power Pack's still up there, Hannah, change it. Course login, there we go. If you log into your course again, the link will be there, whether you're on the VIP version or whether you're on the free version. Go to Pam's section and you'll be able to find the link for where that's going to premiere. And then we will be live for our last session of the day. I can't believe how quickly it's gone.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun. That's definitely true today.
Time flies. It's definitely flying because I'm very hungry now. So it must be. Must be going far. But yeah, so come and join us for that premiere and then for the live Q&A afterwards. And Salena, thank you so much for joining us. And if
Thank you so much.
People want to contact you, where's the best place? Should they email you or should they just come and find you on social?
Yeah, either way, I do have a very simple email address, salena.baca@gmail.com. So anyone's welcome to email me, questions, comments, feedback, all of that. I do run 2 Facebook groups. So I do have really inclusive, inviting communities. So you can either join at the American Crochet Association or Salena Baca Crochet, either one. Everyone's welcome.
Awesome. Go find Salena, everyone, if you don't already follow her.
Thank you.
Right. We'll see you soon, everyone.
It's been lovely chatting to you. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.